Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. Oh my god. How's it hanging? Hello. Hello. Hello, Jonna, Matt, Casey. Welcome. Thank you. Just joking, Joe. Bonjour. Hi. Can you all hear me all right? I've got the mic quite close to me. I don't want you to feel like your eardrums need replacing. Is it quiet? Oh, okay. The opposite. Wait, it's all the way up. Potatoes. Hello. Oh, I am not sure what to do in that case. Wait, does it get louder when I go closer? It is coming out of here, right? Yeah. Okay. So it is coming out of the mic. It's all the way up here. I don't really know how to fix it. Is it like too quiet or is it okay? If I move it closer to me, maybe that will do it. I can move my chair down. Oh, it's really great to see you guys. Is this the first time you're at one of the live streams? Oh, I found my glasses. They were they weren't in my bag because they're usually in my bag, and I emptied out all of the drawers in my chest of drawers, and I found these with my pajamas. So now, I mean, I can read anyway, but I can just read a little bit better with these on, or at least my eyes aren't afterwards. Is that you? You're a bit far back from the mic. Yeah, I'll just try and stay in this zone. Ah, thank you, Jonna. I've had them. I should probably get them replaced. Actually, I've had them for quite a few years now. It's going to suddenly fix itself and scare the shit out of me, isn't it? I hope not. I really hope not. If it does, I apologize in advance. I feel really short now. I'm going to bring this back up. How are you today? I'm all right, thank you, Joe. I just realized I don't have a drink with me. Oh, well. I'll briefly pause this before we begin Xenoblade Definitive and run down and get a drink in about an hour. Hey! Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Frankelman. Frankelman, and all of the new followers. Hello, Riker Ninja, Heart of Chaos, Whoops, Water Kirby 1964. Oh, and Carl, thank you for subscribing. Apparently, I've been subbed for 3 months. Nice. I think that makes you Apple guy. Or maybe 3 months, I think it changes to like cherries or something. I can't remember. Oh yeah, cherries. There you are. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Low the Twisted. Fuzzy FPN has followed. Just Ice has followed. Oh, it's so nice to see you guys. Well, we had so much fun last week over on the RS Discord. God, I need a haircut. That figured it would be fun to do it again this week, but just over here. I like cherries. Good. All the new subs. Hooray! Yeah. Might be my snooze vision, but it kind of looks like you got white furry ear. Does it? I think it's your snooze vision. Or it might be the stuff on my wall. Maybe. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Carsten. Resubscribing for 4 months. So you're in the cherry club with Carl. Oh, thank you so much. Hype. English ain't my native language. I hope I won't make too many mistakes. No, don't worry about it, villain. Villian W, it's a pleasure to have you here. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! Oh man, I haven't seen Shrek in so long. In fact, didn't we have this discussion recently? I'm having deja vu. I feel like we spoke about this recently. Shrek is always due a rewatch. It's a classic scene. It is. It is. Will go down in movie making history. Is it the 20th anniversary of Shrek this year? Oh my god, that makes me feel old. 20? Wow. I remember watching that at the cinema. I'm pretty sure I watched it at the cinema. Yeah. Yes, I did watch it at the cinema. I remember quite vividly the beginning credits with Shrek in the outhouse and how great that was. Wow. Well, I found lots of really great questions. You guys asked some really, really great questions. Some of them Xenoblade related, some of them music related, some of them just random, like what's your favorite food kind of thing. And I've written them all down, the ones that I thought were quite fun. But I've only I've only kind of vaguely thought about some of the answers to some of the questions. I kind of wanted them to be more flowy. Like, I didn't want it to be like, and this is my like, some of them I had to look some people up because I was like, what's that person's name? So I've thought of them, but let's get into it. So, oh, Carsten, 31 when Shrek came out. Wow, allowed to hang out here. Absolutely. And I'm quite jealous that you were able to participate in the 90s in your 20s. I bet that was fun. Mind you, I think people my age romanticize the 90s way more than we should have. But yes, welcome. Everyone's welcome. Oh yeah, I'm Phoenix, a gig in September. I'm so excited. We'll talk more about that later. So, there was a dude or dame or person called Danger who asked, if you could have any job in the world and would have the passion for it, what would it be? Well, the first thing that came to mind was like psychologist. I know that's really boring. Like when I was a kid, I thought being a psychiatrist, like a criminal psychologist, would have been quite interesting. Just because I find that kind of stuff fascinating. I don't know why when I was a kid I was interested in criminal psychology. I'm talking when I was like 8 or 9. I was like, wow, what makes a person a murderer? But I thought that would be an interesting job. But as I got older, I thought, I'll just pretend to be superheroes instead. Yeah, I think that would be on the top of my list. I also wanted to be a professional figure skater, but as soon as I started acting, I felt less passionately about that one. Sounds right to me. Oh, Theorista. Just want to let you know that I listened to your song Reckless, and I really like, I was having your songs played while I was playing Smash, and I made it come back against a teabagging browser. Nice. Oh, nice. Oh, thank you for the listen. And I'm glad that it was a good soundtrack for your payback on Smash. Oh, thank you so much, Villian. That's very kind of you to say. And it's toying with us. Yes, this whole thing has been a ruse. Hello, Mithra. Whoop whoop. So, Danger also asked, do you feel overshadowed by your work as Pyra and Mithra? I feel like people just want to be asking about your stance on Pyra and Mithra. Do you feel any regret? Absolutely not. Voicing Pyra and Mithra was a proper career highlight, and I've been able to bring out music and meet really cool people and meet all of you and begin streaming and raise tons of money for charity, and I've been able to do so much having voiced Pyra and Mithra, so I feel no regret at all. And I think it's worth the occasional creep or the bombardment of Xenoblade related questions. I don't mind at all. I think it's completely worth it. Oh, thank you. Says tournament. Pyro and Mithra. Ooh. Hazen Narutoi. Hazen Narutoi. I'm not sure if I'm saying your username right. I hope you win. Good luck on your Smash tournament. Yeah, Jonathan, thankfully I do. Okay, so Retro asked, how did you get introduced to VA work, and what's the best tip for others getting started? I get this a lot, and I will always say, make sure you've got your accents nailed. If you're an American actor, make sure that you've got a really cracking British accent. If you're a British actor, make sure you've got a really cracking American accent, because those are like the two most in-demand accents whenever I get a breakdown through for voice work. So make sure you've got cracking accents, and don't just focus on like video game stuff, because the fun stuff usually only comes after you've like paid your dues in like, you know, commercials and corporate sort of internal videos and stuff like that. So I guess the best phrase I can think of about it is like telephone voice or commercial voice. Like if you can sort of switch on a very commercial sounding telephone voice, it's good to have a few examples of that in a voice reel, as well as like theatrical choices, just so you've got some variety. And you know, most of the money comes from like corporate stuff, so if you can get that, that can help put food on the table. But yeah, once you've got a couple of scripts through, like commercial stuff and theatrical stuff that's literally like 30 seconds to a minute long, and you only need like 3 or 4 examples, put it all in a voice reel and send it out to agents. It sounds really simple, and it's not that simple. It's a really simplified version, but those are probably the main things that I would do. But yeah, I got personally introduced to voiceover work through my acting agent. She introduced me to my voice agent, and I just started getting auditions that way. But if you don't already have an in, I'm afraid I've not got like personal experience trying to get into the voice industry, as I was already kind of floating around the world. But yeah. Radiant asked, hi Skye, if you were the creator of a video game series like Xenoblade Chronicles, which series would you choose and why? I picked this question because I actually have a video game in mind that I want to create. It's going to be very expensive, and I'm probably not going to get to it for another decade or so. But it's an idea that I initially had for a TV show. But actually, as I started working in gaming and playing more games and seeing how it has progressed in such a short amount of time, I think it's such an exciting industry. And I mean, the film industry and the TV industry haven't obviously been like done. You know, there's always stuff that you can do, but I think the newness, the relative newness of the gaming industry is just a little too exciting to not pursue. So I think writing a video game is more exciting to me than writing a TV show. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I want it to be an open world thing, kind of inspired by GTA, but more sci-fi. I want it to start as like a police drama, and then go into a more sci-fi direction, set in a very GTA style world. But that's the best I'm gonna say, because I don't want to give too much away. But if you're interested in learning more, I do talk a lot about it on my Patreon. I've made, I don't know, 20 or 30 playlists of music inspired by different venues in my world. So yeah, you can cruise on the Patreon and have a read if you want. Pneumatic Fan Club / Wrecked Dim asked who my fave music artist is. There isn't one. They change all the time. Usually when asked this question, the first thing I think of is, like, first band I think of is a band called Blind Melon, excuse me, from the 90s. I don't know why, you know, I do know why. They're a great band, and their songs are great and amazing, and I've got great memories listening to them, and I've grown up listening to them. But more recently, I'm a big fan of AWOL Nation, 21 Pilots. There's a new band who brought out a really great EP 2 years ago now, I think, called Calva Louise. They're a UK band. I think they're based up north. Nova Twins is another new kind of band. They're very great. I've been listening to a lot of Bring Me the Horizon lately. But yeah, when I think of my favorite, you know, people who have a special place in my heart, it's like Blind Melon, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Alanis Morissette, Nirvana, pre-2000s stuff. Lily/Paper Tiger, what's an unpopular opinion you hold that you'll defend until the day you die? I was thinking about this. I picked this question because I was literally thinking about this the day that I saw this question. So an unpopular opinion that I have is that teenagers whose brains are still developing may not necessarily benefit from overtly depressing music. And I say this because emo as a cultural phenomenon was at its peak when I was in high school. And every teenager thinks that their life is shit. When you become an adult and you look back on it and you're like, actually, I had it pretty easy. Obviously, there are exceptions, but every teenager, regardless of how great their life is, thinks everything is a drama and terrible, because that's just what being a teenager is about. So of course you connect to music that's really dramatic and depressing. Where I find an issue with it is when an artist is being quite transparent about it. And obviously, I don't think it's the artist's fault. I think people are going to write what they write, regardless of, you know, what the reception might be. You know, an artist is going to write about what they're feeling, regardless of what they're feeling about it. I more place the blame on the industry for glorifying certain things. You know, a 13-year-old whose favorite hot lead singer, if that person is going through a tough time and is honest about it, rightly so, because it's important to be honest about what you're going through, because there's a lot of people who feel like they need that visibility. But if someone who is only doing it for clout, or only doing it because they think that's going to get my fan base, if I say, I'm fucked up, I'm this, I'm that, and all we have is each other, that's the thing that I find most toxic, is when an artist will say, all we have is each other. It's kind of like when Trump was in office and said, you can't trust anyone but me. That's, I think, what I'm trying to get at. Am I making any sense? So an unpopular opinion, to make it more concise, is when teenagers are exploited, or when, you know, for commercial gain. And I feel weird saying it. I feel like it's an unpopular opinion because I see so many people being like, you saved my life. Strange singer man, I don't know. And I don't know. It's just me. I think it's a huge responsibility to have so many young fans, and I think a lot of people in those positions get it wrong a lot of the time. Okay, moving on. Not Butts. Hi, Skye. Who do you plan on voicing next? What do you think are the requirements for a character to be voiced by you? I mean, there aren't really many requirements. I just want the character to be, I mean, like, not even just like voicing stuff, like anything I do, I want it to be not gross or like I don't know, I don't like I guess just well written and well rounded. You know, like, yeah. I don't really care the size of a project. I think if if I want to do a character justice, you know, it would be good for the character to be worth doing right or be worth doing well. But I wish I could tell you who I'm doing next, because I'm in the middle of a really great job, and it's actually probably the job that I'm most excited about, like, in my whole career, like, purely because this is from a fucking, I don't know, I can't say. I can't say. But yeah, I'm part of a game that I'm really excited about. That's not a Nintendo game. It's not in the Nintendo world. But it is something that I had already heard of and was already a fan of. And the fact that I'm fucking in it just blows my mind. I'm gonna stop talking. Daylight. Thoughts on there being no reason for the alphabet to be ordered the way it is. Is there no reason for the alphabet to be ordered the way it is? Because if so, that's crazy. Is there no reason for the alphabet to be ordered the way it is? It is ordered alphabetically. I saw this just before I went live, and I was like, what? I just had to put that out there. My thoughts are, that's fucking crazy, and I never thought of that. Brax, what's a short story you may have about an interesting, funny, sad, or cool experience you may have had during the duration of your voice acting in the development of Xenoblade 2? I don't think I've ever actually said this, but my dog actually died really shortly before recording Xenoblade. I'm surprised I've never mentioned that. But yeah, my dog died. I want to say like a week or two before recording, and she was like my childhood dog, so I don't really remember what life was like before she was in it, and I got really sad about it. I was sad like that whole year. The whole year I was miserable, and recording Xenoblade was kind of a nice distraction. Yeah, man, I was really down about it. And it wasn't just about her dying, because my dog died. I lost all three of my grandparents, because my granddad died when I was a baby, but my three remaining grandparents all died quite soon after each other. And then, like, people I knew from school were getting, like, hit by cars. Someone was in a go-karting accident in Australia or something. People I knew just were dying. And my dog was, like, the final kind of, great, now my dog is fucking dead. Yeah, so recording Xenoblade 2 really helped distract me. And, yeah, it was a nice alleviation, I guess. But yeah, I'm surprised I never said that before. Oh, thank you. yeah. Lost 3 dogs in my house throughout my life. God, it's horrible. It's like, you know that they're gonna break your heart one day, but it doesn't make it any easier when it happens. Oh, Darth Locatus, thank you for subscribing. So, a slightly more light-hearted question. The CEO of Furries, perhaps unsurprisingly, asked, "Hey Skye, what's your favorite animal? And what do you think Pyra and Mithra's favorite animals would be?" Um, so, in the same vein, my favorite animal is actually a dog. I love dogs. I think they are too good for this world. I love them. An elephant is a close second, but I do love dogs. And I think Pyra's favorite character. I think Pyra's favorite animal would be like a cat, maybe. And Mithra's favorite animal would be a kangaroo. Because they punch hard. Okay, Six of Swords. Can you describe how you realized your passion for making music and what you did to foster its growth? So I realized that I love music before I really loved acting. I've loved music my whole life. I watched School of Rock with Sam and Rory a few weeks ago now. But that movie seriously changed my life. And that came out probably 2005 or something, 2000, maybe even earlier. I remember being really, really young, and I came out different. Like, I came out of the cinema different. Like, when I first got my agent, she was like, if you could be anybody, bearing in mind I was like 9, she was like, if you could be anybody in any movie, who would you be? And I picked Freddie from School of Rock. Movie came out in 2001. Right. That's crazy. So yeah. And I mean, I grew up around, even before watching that movie, my mum was constantly playing rock music in the house. So I started writing music when I was 15, and I didn't really gather the courage to bring any of it out until I was like 22, maybe 21, 22. Plus I physically couldn't afford to do it properly until then. But yeah, my passion was just kind of always there. Oh, and what did I do to foster its growth? I kept writing, even if I think something sucks. I think it's good to just write, and that's the only way you'll get better. Gigging, tons. Gigging constantly. Before the world switched off, we were out gigging all the time. And it was so good. It was good because the songs just got so tight, and you feel less self-conscious after a while. Like, after gigs, I'd have such a dry mouth, and it still happens sometimes when I'm like really nervous, or I know that there's someone important in the audience or whatever. Got a really, really dry mouth, and when you've got a dry mouth, you can't sing. So yeah, I've hit a few clangers in my time, but the more you do it, the less you care about it. But yeah. So what's your favorite species of bird? Crow. I love crows. Oh, and that was asked by Airy with 3 question marks and an exclamation point and a pear emoji. I'd say a crow is my favorite. I think they have like a sense of humor, and they remember your face. They're really interesting birds. Zekinator Supremacy, in all capital letters, said, what's your favorite performance by any voice actor or actress? So this is one that I didn't have to think about. Like, I knew them all, but I had to search some of their names. The first people I thought of were Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson. They are fantastic in The Last of Us. It was actually The Last of Us, I think, that that actually made me think, oh shit, like, games are getting really good. Yeah, I think the thing I value most about games is how well they can tell a story. And that was probably the first. I mean, I'm sure tons of games did it before The Last of Us, but I think The Last of Us, when it first came out, it was like PS3. It would have been like 2005, 2014 or even 2013 or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was the first game that I played that I was like, wow. Jennifer Hale as Femshep in Mass Effect, fucking incredible. Love her. I remember being really impressed by basically everyone in Detroit Become Human and GTA 5. Especially, what's his name? The dude with the grey shirt. The one who's constantly going off on tangents. The one who looks like he smells like cigarettes. Who's that one? Do you know who I mean? Trevor. That's it. Trevor. And Michael was good. I mean, they were all really great, but I remember being particularly impressed by Trevor. Oh my god, yeah. And finally, Far Cry always have fantastic villains, but like I got into that game on Far Cry 3. Yeah, Far Cry 3 when Michael Mando played Vass. And did you guys ever play Far Cry 3? Oh my god, it is so good, and he is fantastic in it. And we were, and we played that. I forget. I think Sam might have. I got the game for Sam, and I like watched him play it sometimes. But at the time we were watching Breaking Bad, and he had a role in that where he played like a gangster or something. I can't remember what he played, but he is in it. And we were like, is that Vass from Far Cry? And it was. And he was just as good in that as well. Far Cry 3 is the best villain. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. But yeah, I got plenty of people that I found fantastic. Dat Panda, would you say that your upbringing involving two countries, England and America, afforded you any advantages or disadvantages in your voice acting career or in life in general? It's been a massive advantage more than it's been a disadvantage. Having an American passport and having an ear for the American accent was massively helpful in getting work, and it's probably a large reason why I got Xenoblade. Especially as a kid, because there weren't many London-based kid actors who had an American passport. So that helped lots. Though, because my accent's kind of a weird mix of both, I remember being like 10 or 11, and my agent at the time was like, Skye, can you like pick one or the other, because you're confusing casting directors. They don't know where you're from. Like, they don't know if you're putting on an accent, or they just don't know what's going on. So for a long time, I really amped up the Britishness of my voice, and I tried sounding more English. After a while, I just stopped giving a shit. But yeah. So but that's been the only disadvantage, just a few people being confused. But yeah, it's been more of an advantage. That was a good question, though. I've never been asked that. Shulk, I know this is a pretty controversial topic, but what are your thoughts? Oh, okay, yeah, on the controversy of Pyra and Mithra being over-sexualized. I mean, it's completely unsurprising. It's an anime game. That's just how a lot of their women look. Anime game. Is that the right Japanese game? But I think it's fucking... If that was all they were offering, I'd be more mad about it. But they're great characters. And they're a lot more than balloon tits. But I do have to admit, when I first saw their design, I was like... Why? But yeah, as I said, they're a lot more than what they look. And I think because it's so outrageous and so unrealistic, and no one's pretending like it is realistic, no one's saying this is an attainable goal, I don't think it's that damaging. The things that are damaging are when women are over sexualized and their body shape is not completely unattainable. Like, if you have a lot of money and a lot of time and you don't eat, you might be able to attain it. But a cartoon girl who's not even a human is not attainable. And they're not saying it is. It's just fan service. And it's... You can get mad about it. You can get mad about, like, stuff that's actually affecting people. But on the same topic, Nerdy Kid said, so Skye, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about Mithra's altered design for Smash? And I love it. I love it. Because it's just what? It's just tights, isn't it? That's all it is. And people are getting, people are getting mad about it. And I'm like, the people who are getting mad about Mithra wearing tights are just exposing themselves. You're just telling everybody exactly the kind of person you are. And it's funny. It's very funny. They're like, meh, tights. It's like, yeah. What's wrong? Whatever. So, Corgalia, she, her, said, oh, if this was a good question. If all fruit was sentient and could fight, who would win? I should have really thought about this, but I didn't. I thought, this is a great question, and I'm adding it. I feel like a banana would fight smart, but ultimately be really easy to mash. I think an apple is quite dense. It's just like a cannonball. It wouldn't do anything, it would just go for it. I think a melon is a proper tank. Melon would just have to go doof, done. But who would actually be smart and effective and hard to beat? A lemon would have good stingy powers. Just go like, sting someone in the eye. A pumpkin. Dragon fruit's too fancy. Dragon fruit would be too concerned how its arse looks. I think... it would need to be a tough fruit. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to say orange because an orange is my favorite. Oh, and on the same topic of fruit, hey Skye, from which side do you open a banana? I've never in my life seen anyone open a banana with the, like, flat end. Surely you open it with the, like, end. You know, it's got, like, a little thing. I just got confused at this question. Do people actually open a banana the wrong way around? Grapes would act like a cluster bomb, you're right. Just break it in half. That's crazy. Mad lad, let's do it. Yeah, very weird. The question is simple by OTAM #1 initial dash KW. Question is simple. Are hot dog sandwiches? Yeah, I guess they're like sausage sandwiches. Okay, Thick Patrick, outstanding username and profile picture, said, hey Skye, pretty unrelated question towards Smash Bros and voice acting, but what are your songs like? And can I get a link to your channel which has your songs uploaded? As a matter of fact, you can. If you go down on my Twitch page, there's a little picture of me kicking in front of a shop window in Shoreditch, and you can click on that and it takes you straight to my Spotify, I think. But my music is mostly rock music, or it's inspired by rock music. I mean, my latest songs have been very rock heavy, and yeah, it's rock music. or alternative music, but alternative is quite a broad term. But yeah, thank you for your question. Effervescence. Hey Skye, do you pronounce GIF with a hard G or a soft G? I say GIF. GIF. GIF? GIF is the peanut. Oh no, what do I say? Do you pronounce GIF? Do you pronounce GIF? No, I think I say GIF. Fuck. I don't know. What do I say? GIF. Send me a really funny GIF. Send me a really funny GIF. Oh no. What do I say? I don't know. I think I say GIF. I think I say GIF. Which I know is wrong. Is it wrong? I think it's wrong. Both are fine. Oran, what prospect sounds more terrifying? Pissing off Jin or pissing off Nia? Aw, hey, I'm doing good, thank you, Samcario. Thank you for your bits. I think they're both worthy opponents. I think I would feel more guilty if I pissed off Nia. And I think I hate feeling guilty more than I hate feeling terrified. But the question is a more terrifying prospect, so Jin? But Jin has a soft side. Jin would be a quicker death. Nia would let you suffer. I think Nia would be more scary. Arena Senpai, how does it feel to sign an NDA? As in, what's it like walking around knowing a secret like that? Is it ever difficult or exciting? I mean, I've signed quite a few now. And sometimes you sign an NDA and you don't even get the job. Like, you just sign them for an audition. I mean, at first it was like, oh, I've signed an NDA. I could go to prison. It's quite scary when you actually know that they will send you to prison if you say something. Like, I've signed, I think there's only been like 2 NDAs that I've signed that I've been really intimidated by, because they were for like massive projects. Massive. Like the biggest kind of project you can think of. Huge. I didn't get the jobs, but, well, but, yeah, but usually it's just like, whatever, like, it's not a huge deal, and I'm very good at keeping secrets, especially when it means that I could go to prison. Jeremy M. Hi, Skye. 2 questions. Do you plan on becoming a fellow Pyro Mithra Smash main in Smash? Yes, probably. As they are. Even if I didn't voice them, they're like the best, aren't they? They're really, really good. Yeah. So I probably would, even if I hadn't voiced them. And also any TV/film suggestions that kept you sane during the past year with all the stuff that's going on. Favorite games? Ah, thank you for the end part of what you said, Jeremy M. What have I recently started watching? I actually recently started watching Superstore, which has America Ferrera in it. It's a very good show. It's on Netflix at the moment. I've been watching that. What else have I watched? We're watching Peaky Blinders! Have you guys seen Peaky Blinders? Oh my god. It is such a good fucking show. Peaky Blinders is brilliant. We've been watching that. And we even bought some whiskey, because Peaky Blinders makes whiskey look very delicious. So we have a little glass of whiskey while we watch Peaky Blinders. So good. So good! Oh my god. So yeah, I'd recommend those 2. Bougie Goji. Any new projects you're allowed to talk about? I've got a song coming out. I can talk about that. It is coming out. I mean, I'm officially not announcing it for a couple of weeks, but it's coming out on April 2nd, and I'm really excited about it. It's probably the best I've not been excited like this for a song in a long time. Reckless is super fun, but Preacher is like, it's so good. I'm so excited about it. But yeah. Oh yeah, so people have mentioned that my mic volume is pretty quiet. I'm not entirely sure why or how I can fix that. Because it's all the way up on my end. But thank you for letting me know. I'll try and be quite close. So yeah, I've got a new song coming out. And a music video to go with it. Oh yeah, so the username for this one didn't fully load, or it is just quote marks, but someone asked, when you're voice acting, are there any moments when it's hard to nail a line and you get frustrated? If so, how do you overcome these moments? Yeah, there are definitely times like that. And I think it's not always just me. I think if you're in the booth for all day, everyone gets a little stuck in their head, and like, you know, the engineer will pick up on something really small, or the director will pick up on something really small that they otherwise wouldn't worry about. But when you spend so long doing something and you don't, you know, take a break, or, I mean, usually people take, I don't know why I'm so gassy, sorry. But usually people take the right amount of breaks, but for some reason, if that doesn't happen, everyone has a moment where they get in their head about something. And sometimes you just need to take 5, go away, come back and try again. Have a drink, just breathe. And then you usually get over it. It's very easy to psych yourself out because there's not really a lot to go on Yeah, there isn't a lot to go on, especially with Xenoblade, because we were all doing it by ourselves. Like, we couldn't bounce the performance off anybody, so really easy to get in your head. But yeah, you just need to go out and get some oxygen, and then you're usually fine. Morgana, if any video game character could be your roommate for an eternity, who would it be? I would get sick of my own voice if I was roommates with Pyra and Mithra for an eternity. It would be horrible. But I don't think I would ever get sick of hearing Morag's voice or Garrus from Mass Effect. I would never get sick of their voices. Dr. Eudes / Double Spitting Edge asked, if you had to act like Pandoria for 2 days or Dromark for 1 day, who would you choose and why? Meaning that if you went with Pandoria, you would have to deal with Zeke's unluckiness, and if you went with Dromark, you'd have to carry Nia on your back / sleep like a cat. Act like Pandoria or act like Dromark? I think I would rather carry Nia on my back, but have like that wisdom and enjoy that for a day, than suffer through Zeke's unluckiness. This is from everyone. That's their username. It's a pleasure meeting you. Pleasure meeting you too. I have a question. What were some hardships that you faced along the way that you look back every once in a while, and how did you overcome them? Well, I mean, everyone's got their cross to bear. That's such an old saying. Everyone's been through shit. But, I mean, my biggest problem has been, like, health stuff. But, like, I don't know. Face along the way, you look back on every once in a while. I mean, stuff that is clear, like, really in the past is any relationship stuff that I had with Sam. I can look back on that and be, you know, see the value in it, what we went through, what we learned about each other, what we learned that what we needed was certain things, and, you know, learning to work together and not constantly jump on the defensive, or, you know, just learning to listen and not put so much pressure on each other. You know, me and Sam, we've gone through a lot. When you grow up with someone, like we got together, I was 15, he was 17. And well, no, he was 16 actually. He was 16. When you literally grow up with someone from being a teenager, going through your 20s and having like those sort of things in the back of your head, like any doubts about yourself or your life are obviously it's gonna be really easy to blame the relationship because that's all you know. You don't know how to deal with your emotions. And the thing that's, you know, the most intense emotional thing in your life is obviously the person you love. So, yeah, just working out what was actually the relationship or what wasn't actually the relationship was something to learn. And yeah, we went through it and we're the happiest we've ever been. You know, the last few years have been a breeze. Everything else has just been personal stuff, like health stuff, but I'm still kind of like, I'm still going through it, so I can't really look back on it yet. But hopefully I can soon. Kel 50. What did you think of Xenoblade 2's voice acting? And how did the game and how the game turned out as a whole? I've written down, people give Al Weaver shit, but I thought he did a great job on the whole. Because I think he did a great job on the whole. Everybody, I mean, God, there are some lines that I delivered in that game that aren't very good. But there are some lines that are good, and and it's the same thing with Al. Katrine May, I think I said, I'm sorry if I said her name wrong, but Katrine Mayhew is wonderful as Nia. Kirsty Mitchell as Morag. Daniel Barker was very funny as Zeke. Arena E is probably my favorite because her performance as Poppy is outstanding. And David Menken was wonderfully evil as Malos. But yeah, everyone was great. Really great. Sorry if I'm not paying a lot of attention to the chat. I've realized that we've got 7 minutes left, so I'm just trying to power through. Don't have very many questions left. Bullet64 asked, how was recording for Torna different from recording for the main game? It was more fun because I had gotten more comfortable in the role at that point, and I could just have fun, and I was happy to be back. You know, it was super fun. I think sequels are always, I mean, even though it's technically a prequel, but extra work for a role that you've already played it's always really fun to go back to a character that you loved. So I had a good time. It was less like I had something to prove, because I felt like I had a lot to prove during the Xenoblade 2 main game recording. I could just have fun for Torna, and yeah. Giorl asks, are there any artists you would like to collab with for your next singles or EPs? Going into releasing music, I thought, I don't need like a shitload of money. I don't need a shitload of awards. All I really would love, I mean, it would be nice to have a shitload of money and a shitload of awards, but the only thing that I'm really hoping for is to like earn the respect of people I respect and be able to work with everybody that I love. Like I'm desperate to get into the studio with Jack White. I'm desperate to get into the studio with Beck. Those are my top two, Beck and Jack White, that I really, 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 really want to work with. I would love to write with I would love to write with Hayley Williams, because I think she's a large reason why I sound the way I do and why I make the kind of music that I make. I mean, everyone, I feel like, you know, any chick or dude, but definitely girls in my age group would have been massively influenced by Hayley Williams if you were a fan of that kind of music. We had Amy Lee and Hayley Williams. Those were kind of our two, like, massively famous choices. I mean, there's obviously like lots of other people, like Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, and what's her name from Flyleaf? I can't remember her name, but she was really good as well. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, but when you think of influential female rockers from the early to mid 2000s, you think Hayley Williams and Amy Lee. So Amy Lee's another person I'd be honored to be in a studio with. Yeah, those four. Radical Fiend. If you met The Rock and he was going in for the Brofist, but you knew he had COVID-19, would you still return the Brofist? I think the opportunity to Brofist The Rock is too rare to pass up. I would, however, make sure that I was wearing gloves and I sanitized the shit out of him afterwards. And I've also had my vaccination, so I would feel less nervous about it. DCL Puppet Whisperer, what is your favorite tea? My favorite tea is peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is actually really good. It's a mucus thinner, which helps me and my stupid lungs. Yeah. And it's just nice. It's fresh. It's refreshing. Captain Kitsune, is that how I say your name? Similar to some above. Could you? Oh yeah. So I don't usually. People ask me to say stuff in Pyra and Mithra's voice, and usually I feel weird doing it, and I don't want to do it. But this made me laugh. So, could you say the salt here is wonderful in reference to all the haters? Oh, I don't know how. Who do I do it as? Pyra, I guess. The salt here is wonderful. The salt here? The salt here is wonderful. The salt here? I haven't done the voices in ages. Oh well. The salt here is wonderful. Blech. Favorite food and drink? Pasta and iced tea. Pasta with butter or sauce? Depends on the food. We in our household, I don't know if you do like any similar meals to this, but we have steak and noodles, which is basically like steak with buttered noodles. And it's really, really good. It's a great combo. That's probably the only instance I would ever have like pasta with butter. So I would probably say sauce. What is your opinion on raisins? I like them. I like raisins. What is the hardest scene / quote for you to record for every reason? Blushy crushy for obvious reasons. HTM VivTech. Is voice acting a time-consuming job? If so, how do you manage it so you still have time for friends and or family? It's actually not that time-consuming. It's quite, it's a breeze, actually. Usually you've got to get... I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles was a very, unique case because there was so much work to do. It's a huge game. But usually games are only like an afternoon or a couple of afternoons of required work. So yeah, the most time consuming stuff is usually like face acting stuff, because you have to actually go away and wake up at 5 a.m. and come home at 11 p.m. and do proper days. It's long days. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, and perfectly timed, how does recording lines for VO, so how does doing voice work differ from recording an album in your experience? Moreover, do you have any advice for going from the music world into the voiceover world? So I'm not really in the music world. I mean, I make music, but I'm trying to get into the music world. I'm more in the voice world. But I don't think I'd ever, I would only ever go back and forth. I don't think I ever want to go from one to another. I always want to do them both. But they're very different. Recording a song is, I have to be there for all of it. Whereas I can just pop in, do my lines, and then go home. But for recording a song, you know, it's a weekend of, we do drum day one day, and then we plug in the guitars another day, and then do vocals another day, and, you know, it's like 3 or 4 days of fun and music making. And I've never made an album, but I really hope I can before too long. It's just it's money. It's incredibly expensive to make music, especially when you're not signed. So yeah, it's very different. It's very different, but both are very, very, very fun in equal measure. And that was the last question that we have time for. Thank you so much for your questions. That was really fun answering them, and there were some really good ones. But now the time has come for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I don't know what to do with this. Maybe I'll leave this here. I think what I'm gonna do before we get going, yes, hype, is I'm gonna end the stream briefly so that this little AMA I can take away and send it to the All Rest Discord, so they don't have to sit through 2 hours of Xenoblade Definitive, unless you really want to, and then you can stick around on the Twitch. But I know some people are only interested in the AMA, so I'll end the stream briefly, go get myself a drink, come back, literally, like, I'll be a minute, and then we can carry on. But I hope you enjoyed that. I hope my questions were satisfactory, and my callback to my completely... I should have really rehearsed my pyro before answering that question. I feel weird that it wasn't good. Really out of practice. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I should go up the chat and see if there's anything I shouldn't have missed. Wow, there's so many of you here. Wow, I've only just noticed 287 viewers. Thank you guys so much for coming along. It's so nice seeing you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Brian. Oh, thank you. This was really fun. I really enjoyed this. Exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly, Matt. So, if you want more content, dude in the chat, Chosen One Legend, has a really great podcast called Bunch of Jokers that he does with another mate, Kai. And I popped on there a few weeks ago, or like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. How long ago was it? I can't remember, but it was pre-Smash announcement, so unfortunately there's no Smash Goss on it. But yeah, so you can watch that on YouTube. Could you post the chat in the link, Matt? Chat. Could you post the link in the chat so people can click on it if they want to? Oh, see you later, Water Kirby. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You have a wonderful day too. Is there a moment in the game you remember having a fun time recording? I mean, all of it was really fun. I know that's a really boring answer. Is there a particular moment? When Poppy is first awakened. That was a funny scene. I remember thinking, this game is great. This is a funny project. But yes. Okay. I will be 1 minute. Yeah. Chat to you shortly.